Hey guys, welcome back to Life with Cassie. Today we are going to be making homemade pie crust times 4. So you're going to start with 4 cups of flour, and now you're going to add in 3/4 teaspoon of salt, and now you're going to add 1 tablespoon of sugar, and you guys are going to go ahead and start getting this whisked up just like so. I like to incorporate all the sugar and salt into my flour. Guys, it's just all-purpose flour, nothing fancy, cheap stuff from Walmart. And now you're going to go ahead and add in 1 3/4 cups of unsalted butter, about 3½ sticks, cut into small pieces. And guys, I cannot stress this enough. You want to make sure that they are cut into small pieces, because when you're using cold butter with your mixer, it can actually, like for me, I have broke so many whisks with the cold butter. And so I'm actually going to use this beater one because my whisk was, I need to buy a new one. It was just not doing so well. And this cuts it in just fine. It works as like a hand, like a pastry cutter. And so this one cuts it in very nicely. And so you're just going to pulse it a few times and get that butter incorporated, move it around in your flour. As you can see, it was kind of flinging it a little bit. I've got to get a guard on it, but that's okay. And so I'm just gonna let this pastry cutter whisk attachment cut the butter in like so. Okay, now you're gonna take a 1/2 cup of cold water. You're going to mix that together with 1 tablespoon of white vinegar, like so. Now you're going to add in 1 extra large egg. And you're just going to whisk this together until incorporated. Okay, so now you're going to let down your bowl from your mixer, and you're going to go ahead and just kind of check your bowl for any chunks of butter that may not have gotten small enough through this process. I like to just go through with my hands and just kind of chunk it up a little bit, make it a little bit crumblier. And so I just get my hand all the way to the bottom and just kind of feel around and see if I have any big chunks. And so I just did that for like a 1/2 minute. And do it for however long you need to. Alright, so what you're going to go ahead and do now is you're going to take your 1/2 cup of ice water mixed with your 1 tablespoon of white vinegar and your 1 extra large egg, and you are just going to slowly pour that evenly over your flour mixture like so. And guys, if you have rings on, I highly recommend taking them off. Just, it's easier and you don't have to clean all the dough out of your rings. And so mine was already set up aside. So now you're going to get messy, and here you go. So all you're going to do is just incorporate that with your hands until you have a really big ball. Yeah, it's going to stick to your hands a little bit, but that's not too bad. As you mix it, it'll come off. And guys, if you haven't yet started following me on Instagram, you can check that out. I'm over there. I post a lot of neat things. It's life_with_Cassie_85. All right, so now I am transferring it into this bowl because my arm was getting tired and I needed something a little bit at level. So this is entirely up to you guys. I don't prefer to dirty more bowls than needed, but yeah, like I said, I was getting a little tired over there. So I'm just incorporating all the chunks into the batter or into the dough and making sure that all the crumble stuff that falls to the bottom gets incorporated well. And this can be a lengthy process, okay? But this is by far the best pie crust you will ever make. I swear by it. I have tried them with shortening, butter, with and without vinegar and egg. And this one that I have found has been by far the best one. So, and it makes 4 pies or 2 with the tops. So you can make like a Dutch apple pie or something with the top. And so there you go. So now what you're going to do, you're going to go ahead and get some flour and you're going to flour your surface that you're working on. So right now I'm just working on a butcher block, and just get it to where the dough is not going to stick. Make sure you have some flour on your hands. And then you're going to get your rolling pin. Sorry, I couldn't think of what it was called. The rolling pin, and flour that. And then you're just going to turn your dough onto your surface and cut it into 4 equal parts. Yeah, I was trying to think of what I was doing when I was working with this because I wasn't sure if I was just going to keep it one, and yeah. So anyways, just cut it down into 4s. And then, now this is an optional step. I like to knead my dough a little bit before I put it in the refrigerator. And so that's what I went ahead and did right here. And just kind of, I don't know, I think I kneaded it for just like half a minute just to make sure it was into a ball, because sometimes when it gets refrigerated and it's cold, it can be, they say it's easier to work with, but I just like to have this step out of the way while I'm already here. Okay, and so now you're just going to do that same step with the rest of your dough, and then you're going to refrigerate these for 1 hour preferably, and put like a rag or cellophane or something on top of it just to keep it from getting hard in your refrigerator. All right, so now I'm back. I have my pie pan, and what I like to do is cut a little bit of butter. Yeah, Jack was in there helping. So I like to cut a little bit of butter and put it in the pie pan. This is what I like to do for my nonstick. You guys can spray it, use Crisco, shortening, whatever you guys prefer. But I like to use butter since this recipe is a butter-based pie crust. And then I just take my silicone brush and rub it around until it's completely covered. Just like so. And then I take a little bit of flour and I just sprinkle it in there, and then I work it all the way around, and that's just extra, so when you cut into your pie you actually get the bottom part and not just the sides. I've had pie crust stick so many times, and this is the best way to get it to not stick to your pan. Just like that. All right, so you're gonna turn your dough back onto your floured surface. And guys, it doesn't need to be like crazy floured. That's entirely up to you. Yeah, I just decided that was too much flour, so I was just scooting that aside. And so now you're gonna roll it bigger than your pie pan. So put some muscle into it and get to work. Also, another step while I'm thinking about it that you guys can do is you can have a slice of parchment paper. If you want to actually omit all the flour process, you can put one on the bottom and one on the top and just roll it in between. Or if you want that flour just for your added non-stick in your pie pan, you can just put a thing of parchment paper on top of your dough and then just roll it out like so, and that will work too. And then your rolling pin won't stick. And then you won't have to use any flour on top. And so I'm starting to like how that's coming out. And then you can just take your pie pan over to it and check it to see if it's bigger than that or to your liking. And then what I like to do is I just roll it back, just easy. Yeah, little man was trying to steal dough, so I had to keep him happy. He's starting to take an interest in cooking in the kitchen, so we're going to start doing some more stuff with him. And you're just going to go ahead and take your dough and you're going to roll it out onto your pan like so. And guys, it is actually more durable than you think it is. And you can take your dough, as you'll see here, any like holes or cracks or anything, you can take the excess that's hanging over and you can just mold that into where you have a crack or a split. Pie dough is actually really versatile, easy to make at home, and it tastes way better than store-bought, by far. And this one is really good, guys. I like it because it's got a little bit of sweet with the sugar in it, and it's flaky with the butter, and we use this to make every kind of pie. This is my go-to pie crust. I make pumpkin pie, cherry pie, apple pie. You can make any pie you can imagine with this crust. And so this has been our go-to. And then next week I will show you guys, I think I'll do the pumpkin pie recipe for you. So I'll show you guys the pumpkin pie one next week, and I'll link this in to that. So yeah, so what you're gonna do right now, you're gonna go ahead and just trim with scissors. I found that to be the easiest way to take off the excess. And then just kind of look around where you've got any like holes or rips or tears or anything. And then now you're just gonna pinch your edges, make it decorative. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just do the normal like edging. And I've heard people like use a fork for this. I just pinch it with my fingers and just make it awesome that way. Yep, and then I just incorporated that little piece in there, and then I like to keep it up over my pie pan a little bit when I'm baking it. And I honestly like the deeper dish pie pans when I'm cooking because I don't know, I think that like when I cook pies, they seem to like overflow sometimes. So this pie pan seems to be the perfect size. Now, if I'm using this for a quiche, then I'll use a deeper one and I'll roll my dough out a little bit further than that to incorporate over the sides. All right, guys, so that's that for that pie crust. And then you just put your filling in and cook it according to the recipe. Oh yeah, right now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna prick it with a fork because that helps when you're baking it with your filling in. And now usually the filling is pretty heavy and that will weight it down. But this just helps with air bubbles so you don't get pockets underneath your dough. Yeah, simple, yummy, very, very good. I hope you guys have enjoyed my tutorial on how to make a homemade pie dough. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Follow me over on Instagram, life_with_Cassie_85. I am also on Facebook, Life with Cassie. You can check me out over there. I like to share pictures, things that is going on in our life, my family's life, and yeah, check me out over there. Instagram is where I usually post a lot more, but yeah, if you guys have enjoyed the video, don't forget to share and like, subscribe. I will catch you all later.